Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I formally declare open this council meeting of the Colac Otway Shire on the 23rd of September 2025. Start with the opening prayer. Almighty God, we seek your blessing and guidance in our deliberations on behalf of the people of the Colac Otway Shire. Enable this council's decisions to be those that contribute to the true welfare and betterment of our community. Amen. I'd like to start this afternoon by acknowledging the traditional custodians and lawmakers of this land, their elders, past and present and emerging. Please be advised that this meeting is recorded and live streamed with the exception of confidential matters. This includes the public participation sections of meetings. The live stream recording of this afternoon's meeting will be available on the website as soon as practicable. By participating in open meetings, individuals consent to the use and disclosure of the information they share at the meeting, including any personal and or sensitive information. I note that all 7 councillors are present and there are no apologies. I'll now move to the confirmation of minutes. I propose that we move to confirm the minutes of the council meeting on the 26th of August 2025. Do we have a mover?
I'll move that, Mayor. I think there's been a correction to a minor error in the minutes. If that's been done, I'll move them.
Yep, thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor McCrickard. We have a motion before us. There's a correction to a typographical error in one of the vote counts that's been amended. We'll now put that to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Doog, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Shrams, carried 7-0. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest today? Councillor Howard.
Thanks for the reminder, Mayor. 7.2 on the footpath strategy. One of the priorities goes past my residential property.
Thank you. Mr. Surin.
Thank you, Mayor. Also, I'd like to declare a general conflict of interest for item 7.2, review of footpath strategies for Colac and Apollo Bay, as Bella Street in Colac is identified as a priority which runs past the court that I reside in.
Thank you. Any other conflicts? No. We'll now move on to question time. Question time is an opportunity to ask questions of council in a respectful manner. Please extend due courtesy to councillors and officers when addressing council in this meeting. We reserve the right to disallow questions that breach our governance rules. 30 minutes is allowed for question time at council meetings. Community members wish to ask questions of council by video conference were requested to register their intention before 5 p.m. on Friday the 19th of September 2025. Requests were received. Hang on a sec. Sorry, I think I'm having microphone trouble. Councillors have received questions in writing from James Judd, Elizabeth Ryan and Graham Costin, which will be read out. We've also received one in writing from Anne Newton, which I've chosen not to allow today, but she'll receive a response from officers. These questions will be now read out and a response will be provided by the relevant member of the executive management team. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor, and through you. The first question is from James Judd regarding the Colac Holiday Park. As the 4th year since the council signed a contract with the operators of the holiday park is fast approaching, is this council able to give a definitive guarantee that renewable electricity will actually be deliverable to Colac in advance of that date? The response: the commencement date of the Lake Colac Holiday Park lease was the 1st of January 2024. Therefore, the tenant will need to meet the requirement regarding the use of renewable energy as stipulated in the lease by the 31st of December 2026. Ensuring that the lessee meets this requirement, along with all other clauses in the lease, will be dealt with as part of the management of the lease.
Through you, Mayor, the next question is from Elizabeth Ryan. Could Council please provide an update on the proposed safety works for Cons Lane, Cape Otway Road, Birregurra? The response is that the signs related to change in speed limits in Cons Lane and Cape Otway Road have been ordered from a supplier and will be installed as soon as they're received. We expect this to be within the next fortnight. The next question is from Graham Costin. It's a question to the meeting from the Apollo Bay Community Voice regarding the item on the agenda today for the Apollo Bay footpath priority classifications. The following proposed footpath links in Apollo Bay will provide strategic pedestrian connections between the Recreation Reserve, Campground, Shopping Centre, Barham River Mouth, Point Bunbury Walk and the Harbour Precinct. These paths already experience significantly higher pedestrian and traffic volumes than Knoll Street, yet unlike Knoll Street, are not currently classified as Priority 1. We respectfully request that Council reclassify the following Apollo Bay footpaths as Priority 1. These being Cartwright Street between Knoll Street to Nelson Street, Cartwright Street, Gambier Street to Knoll Street, and Gambier Street, Cartwright Street to Sylvester Street, brackets Great Ocean Road. Given their strategic location and high usage, upgrading the classification of these footpaths will more quickly improve safety, accessibility and amenity for both residents and visitors. And the question is to Council, will Council reclassify the above footpaths as Priority 1 in recognition of the higher pedestrian and traffic volumes in these streets and their critical role in linking community, recreation, camping and commercial precincts in Apollo Bay? And the response is that the classification methodology used in undertaking the review prioritised footpaths that provide direct access to the Great Ocean Road as they provide important linkages to key amenities such as childcare, health facilities and shops, whilst addressing pedestrian risk due to traffic flow. This is the primary reason why Knoll Street was given higher priority than Cartwright Street.
Thank you. That concludes our written questions. We'll now move to questions from the gallery. In accordance with our governance rules, we've sought registration. Two wishing to speak. I'll first call on Tony Webber. Thank you.
My first question relates to the last meeting where I asked about 196 kilometres from Melbourne on the Great Ocean Road. Now, Mr Singh rang me about it and I wasn't at home, and then I rang him back and left a message and I haven't heard anything since. Could I have an update on what's happening?
Through you, Mayor, I'll need to take that on notice and I can get Mr Singh to give you a call back following the meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The second question is on the footpath strategy. I've been requested by people in Murray Square to ask if they could be put on the list because it's a lot of elderly people live there and Murray Square doesn't have a proper footpath situation. So could that happen?
I'll answer that. We've got that strategy before us to make a vote on, and there can be an alternative motion, but we can't sort of determine that until we get to that item. That's all right.
Right, thank you. There's also problems with the Sand Road. I don't know if anyone's been aware of that, and I think it needs regular maintenance rather than occasional maintenance. So can that be also considered?
Yeah, we've got a response on that. We've got information. I'll throw it to Doug.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Thanks for the question. Sand Road has been in a poor condition for some months, and we're well aware of that. It obviously is an important road that services the community in Glen Eyre as well as the campground. There is some important cultural heritage areas underneath the road, and Council requires a permit from Eastern Mar to be able to undertake maintenance works. Council's engaged a consultant to do an assessment of those values, and we lodged an application with EMAC, and we're hoping to be able to get approval to undertake those works shortly. Thank you.
Right, thank you. And the final thing is the top of Montrose Avenue is quite a busy road, so maybe that could be put on the list for the next road to be upgraded in Apollo Bay, because it's from the industrial estate, the tip, So a lot of people and large vehicles use that road. So maybe that could go on a priority list for the next road upgrades. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. The next questions from the gallery is from Elizabeth Ryan. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My question relates to the submission meeting which I attended a couple of weeks ago. There were no questions asked from your, I'm going to say the gallery, but from you guys. But there was so much to learn, especially about, for me, Meredith Park. And I think I'd like to suggest that the public is more considered. Could council then consider that submissions be shared with the public and open to further input prior to council voting on those matters? And that's just an example, Meredith Park.
Yeah, so with the submissions meeting, is an opportunity for the public to speak to their submissions.
Yes.
So we can hear them better explain it. It's not a question and answer forum. And in terms of the public releasing publicly what other people have...
No, I didn't mean that though. I didn't mean to actually release what they specific, like names or anything, or just the overall view.
I'll have to throw that to someone, yeah, either or Ian, about the relevance of privacy and things.
I didn't mean, yeah.
Thanks, Mayor. In terms of if we use Meredith Park as an example, so council's gone out for community engagement, and part of the community engagement process is the submissions committee meeting, like the Mayor said, where people can talk to their submission. When we then collate and analyse all the submissions and the feedback that we get through the survey, and then bring that to council through a council report where we'll provide that assessment through that council report. So I guess that's the process. So the submissions committee meeting is really just one part of the consultation process, if that makes sense, and then we'll analyse and provide an overarching report to councillors.
Because I'll be the first admit, even though I grew up in Colac, never been to Meredith Park. And I've been really interested to listen to people when they've spoken about it. And it's just really, but then know the impact if they have a fire out there and just little things like that. It's like, and to, even today coming in, I actually had a caravan and ute from Tassie with Tassie plates on it that turned behind me on the highway and went down, down the back way. And I'm obviously going to, presuming, to Meredith Park. So it was just sort of like, it highlights that it's so important, and yeah, just to understand that I don't think the community fully understands what's going on out there. So, and I've learnt lots, I can tell you. So thank you for that part of it. My other question relates to the item 7.2, the review of the footpath strategies. I'd also like to encourage council to consider that is included part of this new road safety strategy that's happening at the moment. I think that actually is integral to that strategy. My two questions relate to other inclusions that should have been considered in that the review, the strategies. There's your nature strip policy that I think is really, the footpath and nature strips go hand in hand, so that would be really handy that they were together. And also a document, I know it's very old, but I found, and it was dated June 2004, and it's called Safer Roads, and it's a local road safety initiative looking out for pedestrians and outline. And I think, and it was put together by road safe groups. So I think that would be really helpful. And my other question then goes on to relate to the road safety strategy. I learnt about it through the Colac Herald last week, downloaded it from the website, and now I've looked at it again today, and there's a poll and a survey which I was totally unaware of. Just want to know what changed and why it wasn't up there originally, please. And will the public be notified?
So through you, Mayor, can I just ask you to clarify, Ms Ryan, what wasn't available initially when you went to the website?
There was no poll or survey. That only appeared when I've looked today. I looked on the 17th after I saw the article in the Colac Herald. It had the dates of the
The road safety strategy for public comment's only just gone up.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was why I was in the Colac and that's why I looked it up.
Yeah, it doesn't close until the 20th of October.
That's not that far to go. The only reason I twigged was because I'd seen the one for the 3 sessions, 3 projects for Apollo Bay, and then it's had, bottom of that, you could actually have your say on it. And I thought, well, that's really odd because it actually wasn't there for the drop-in sessions for the road safety strategy originally. So that's only just changed.
Yeah, I'm happy to follow up the query
That's
that
the
you're
one,
raising.
the road safety strategy I downloaded on the 17th of September with no mention of a survey or a poll.
Okay, I'm happy to follow that up with
And
you.
that's in your email that I sent to you guys from RoadSafe as well, because I downloaded it's my documents just so that RoadSafe knows what I'm up to.
Yeah, so I'm happy to follow up and query
you.
whether that was there initially or not, but certainly would encourage any member of the community who's interested in making any form of comment about priority safety issues to go onto that webpage and to register what you think are the important safety issues.
And, well, I didn't think the survey and the poll actually gave real capacity for real input. So I'd be interested, how that was actually determined because they're just Microsoft documents.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks to everyone. That concludes question time. We've got no petitions or joint letters. There's no planning responsible authority decisions. We'll now move on to items for decision. Item 7.1, project budget adjustments and cash reserve transfers. Questions of officers? Councillors? No questions? There is a recommendation in the report. Does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Potter, seconded. Councillor Hudgell. Councillor Potter is the mover.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, pleased as usual to see this table in the agenda. Provides transparency for councillors and the community. Big CapEx requirement to find $500,000 for work at the Lake Colac Holiday Park. Don't be alarmed, this money's been budgeted for, allocated some time ago. Really pleased to see that it's now being allocated for works to start down at the Lake Colac Holiday Park. The tenant down there is also committing over $500,000 and really look forward to the upgrade of the park, which was recently highly rated as a park to go and visit, so pleased with that. $50,000 for an economic development strategy. Really keen to see the results of that. I think this council has done a lot already in relation to prioritising some economic development and tourism strategies for this shire. Well overdue, and I'm glad to see that request for the funding for the strategy in this table. Hope that's supported. And there's another item in relation to some money for potential contamination exploration at the Pound Road Depot, which has been forced on us by EPA, who have quite rightly identified somewhere else some potential contamination, and they've asked us to do our due diligence with what we own to see if that's the source. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor. I'll just clarify it's 40,000 on the economic development strategy. That's all.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't scroll down to
It's all
check.
good. Councillor Hudgell.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to echo Councillor Potter's comments and just iterate the council making the long-term investment into the park. I think it's great, and I'm really excited to get this project off the ground.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? Right to reply. Thanks, councillors. We have a motion before us. We'll now put to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor McGregor, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Trams, carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. We'll now have a conflict of interest. We move to 7.2, Councillor Howard and Mr. Surin.
Do you want me to declare that again, Mayor?
Yeah, you can stay. Yeah. Councillor
Thank you.
Howard has to leave. All right. Questions of officers, councillors. Councillor Potter.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a couple of questions. Perhaps on the back of some questions from the gallery in relation to some footpaths that community have identified or requesting that they be part of this strategy or elevated into the strategy. Does the strategy get reassessed, or is there a mechanism to change the status of footpaths and elevate them, or even decrease them as officers look at the traffic and the foot traffic and the needs and requests from the community?
Through you, Mayor, thanks for the question. This is a review that is a snapshot in time of what officers believe, but using a methodology looking at a range of criteria of what priority the range of footpath upgrades might be within Colac and Apollo Bay. But over time, circumstances will change. Over time, presumably, some of those footpaths will be funded and constructed. There'll be development that happens around both towns that might then create the need for improved connections to those newer areas. And so it is important that over time Council does continue to relook at this strategy periodically to reassess priorities. But that's not to say that in the meantime there might be demands from the community for footpaths that are either lower on the list or not on the list that they request Council to consider through its normal budget process, and they can be given consideration at any time.
Charles. Oh, sorry, Chris has got, yeah. Yeah, go, Chris.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Charlie. Just another question in relation to some smaller towns that aren't part of this strategy, such as Birregurra, Biak, Cressy and Forest, for example, and the community's needs or perceived needs about footpaths in those towns. How is that dealt with as far as achieving some of those aims? How is the community going to forward their wishes for those footpaths to be identified and perhaps developed, seeing they don't sit within this strategy?
Through you, Mayor, this project only relates to Colac and Apollo Bay, as you're aware, but there is a range of other strategies and plans that Council's adopted over past years that do spell out where the community priorities are for footpath connections, and they will be considered in future budget processes as much as the priorities arising from this review. And it is important to note that the community does get an opportunity at the start of the budget process each year where Council does invite the community to indicate what they think should be considered for funding within the budget process, and all of that feedback gets considered as well as what officers might recommend through the budget process.
Thank you. Councillor Buchanan.
Thanks, Mayor. It's an enormous job we've got ahead of us to get all the footpaths, new footpaths put in, and so far we've explored basically concrete footpaths has been the priority. I'm just wondering that to get us through some tight spots with money and footpaths, we should be considering alternative types of coverage for footpaths, as in roll gravel. Some of the gravel's been used in the foreshores of Apollo Bay and Lorne, and quite successfully over many years. So that would be an enormous cost, I believe, in pushing forward that footpath.
Do you have a question, Charlie?
That's the question. Can we look at that in the future?
Through you, Mayor, of course Council can consider the use of gravel as an alternative surface for footpaths, but the reason that concrete is the preferred surface is because it does reduce significantly the ongoing maintenance costs and avoids other issues around safety, risk management and so on. And there are examples of paths that have been constructed of gravel before, and then the community finds that because of issues arising from maintenance, they do need to later be upgraded, which is then an additional cost. So there is a good reason for recommending concrete as the preferred surface, but over time Council can consider alternative surfaces if it sees fit.
Done. Any other questions? Oh, just a question. Can I confirm we had a question from the gallery before? The Murray Square is indeed on the list of Apollo Bay footpaths?
Through you, Mayor, that's correct. It's listed as a priority 2 footpath within Apollo Bay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Does any council wish to move a motion? in relation to Councillor Potter?
Yeah, I'll move it, Mayor. I think there's an alternate motion or some additional wording prepared, which is revised officer recommendation. Thank you. It does say that. Thanks, CEO. I didn't read that. Do you want me to read that out, Mayor, seeing there's been a change?
Yeah, that would be good. Thank you.
Just read paragraph 1, is that all right? Do you want me to do
No, read all three. I think the whole thing's changed. Thanks.
Okay. The revised officer recommendation is that Council 1 endorses the completed review of current footpath strategies for Colac and Apollo Bay, attachment 1, with a change to Armstrong Street Colac to be a priority 1. 2, notes that the change to Armstrong Street Colac to priority 1 was due to an administrative error in attachment 1. 3, notes that the outcome of the review is a prioritised list of future footpath connections for Colac and Apollo Bay to be considered for funding in future budget processes.
Thank you. We have a motion moved. Is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Potter is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Look, it's important to have footpath strategies across the Shire, in particular for Colac and Apollo Bay as the two largest centres and the two centres that grow the most. But we have heard some questions from the community, and the been some great answers from officers, and we have heard how other communities can address their footpath issues. So I don't want to go down that. I think this strategy is self-explanatory. It's quite clear what the reason is as to why we should have a strategy, and I'm supportive of this recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor McCrickard as a seconder.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I concur with Councillor Potter. A footpath strategy is certainly an important element of our council, of any council. It's a huge job, an expensive job, and to have a strategy is certainly a terrific advantage and a good starting point. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? Nope. No right to reply? No. Thanks, councillors. We have a motion before us. We'll now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Duke, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 6-0. Thank you. Just wait for Councillor Howard to return. Thank you. We now move on to item 7.3, Australia Day 2026 Expressions of Interest. The purpose of this report is to decide the approach to the delivery of the Australia Day 2026 event following the expression of interest process. Questions of officers? Councillor Duke.
So in the report it notes potential harm and ways to mitigate it for certain groups, and we've heard from Indigenous elders of our community that there is harm. Is there any ways that we've looked at to lessen that harm? And
Through you, Mayor. So if Council was to accept the officer's recommendation, our role would be to work with the event organiser to have an inclusive event. So we'd certainly provide support to them around inclusion and respect to First Nations people, and we would encourage them to reach out to traditional owner groups and potentially build them into the program. So it might be through a welcome to country or acknowledgement of country or those types of activities. So we would certainly work with the event organiser to ensure that it was an inclusive event.
Yep, another question.
and do you encourage the community to reach out if they have any other ideas of how we can be supportive of our Indigenous community?
Yeah, certainly we're always open to to ideas from the community, and I'm sure the event organiser would be as well. We want to make sure this is a fantastic celebration for our community. So we'll be working really closely to put on a really exciting and great event.
Thank you. Any other questions? I've just got a question around insurance. If we hosted events ourselves, which is an option in there, are we covered with our insurance policy in the event of something may go wrong, like somebody injures themselves or hurts themselves or some form of incident? Are we insured if we host events ourselves?
Through you, Mayor, yes, we would be. That would be part of our insurance coverage.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions? No? There's an officer recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard? Councillor Hudgell as the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Firstly, I'd just like to thank everyone who put forward submissions through the expressions of interest process. What I really like about the recommendation of Cressy Aerodrome is how unique the venue is within our Shire. The team at Cressy Aerodrome have already got such a strong foundation in hosting events, and they also have a huge support base with lots of local groups out there that are involved, such as the Colac Men's Shed, and they have a really large group of really passionate volunteers as well who play a huge role in delivering family fun and friendly events. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Howard is the seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just noting that the officers did a fair and impartial examination of the tenders that came in, and I'm fully supportive of their analysis of the two tenderers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Buchanan. Thanks.
Thanks, Mayor. Although I originally had some concerns about having the event at Cressy because of its location, I thought it may have not been quite accessible enough for the major part of our population in Colac. I've since swung right around and looked at the applicants. They're both good applicants, but I think it's incumbent on us to support things that are encouraging tourism and events away from our major city. And I think it's very, very good to have it at Cressy. It's creating something up there and encouraging what's already happened.
Thank you. Councillor Potter. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, look, I'll be supporting this recommendation. You may recall that initially when this matter first came to council, it was part of a 3 or 4 point motion which I voted against, but this is a position of council, and accordingly we went out for expression of interest. There are only 2 submissions, of which in my view there was only one of any substance. I have every confidence that the team at Cressy Aerodrome will conduct a well-organised, welcoming and inclusive event. And thereafter, next year, we will call for expressive interest, other groups or other locations to hold the event, because I think it's going to be held. It's sensible to share it around the Shire. But I have every confidence this will be a good event out of Cressy. I echo the words of Councillor Hudgell. And I encourage groups to look at what Cressy does and then consider holding a similar event elsewhere in the Shire down the track.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor? Councillor McCrickard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, as Councillor Potter indicated at a previous meeting, a motion was carried, and it's incumbent on myself and all councillors to follow the lead of council and the majority view, and in such I will be supporting the event at Cressy. I think it will be something that's a little bit different for Colac, to travel out to an outlying Shire place. I think that's really good for Cressy and for Colac to go to the the outreach area of the Shire. So I think that's fantastic. It would be good too if in future years that we can build on this and continue, as Councillor Christie said before, to build on our participation and our recognition and to involve all parts of our community. So thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor? I'd just like to thank the submitters. I think it's great that we've had a couple put in, and it's good to share it around, like Councillor Potter said, and to go out to Cressy. We haven't had one. We had a very successful one at BIAC a few years ago, just prior to COVID. I think it's great to we can have the citizenship ceremony at a large event so that our new citizens can be involved in the local community, and the local community having at an event can see our new citizens and the diversity and things we have, and what a great occasion the citizenship events are. Like we've just recently had one here at Colac, but to have it at an open event I think is great, and to hopefully have the community awards back at a large event to give recognition to those that serve our community would be a good thing. So I think both the submitters, this is an established event, so it clearly presented a lot better, but the other submission I also thought was great, and the concept and idea that that submission had was certainly valid, and hopefully they can get that event up so that we can consider that again in future years. So thanks to everyone that took the time to fill in, and hopefully we can make this a great event, and I'm actually rapt that it's at Cressy so that we can promote some of the smaller towns we have in our great shire. So thanks to everyone there. Councillor Hudgell, right or reply? No. We have a motion before us. We'll now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. We now move on to item 7.4, membership of the South West Regional Alliance. Questions of officers? Councillor Howard.
Yes, if I can ask the CEO a question about with the upcoming state election. The way I read the report is that we're probably looking for a good reward on our participation, and that the G21 alliance leading up to the election might be the better option at this stage for Colac Otway Shire.
Thanks for the question, Councillor Howard. So, the state election is the focus of many regional partnerships at this stage and what they're gearing up towards. Just recently, Colac Otway has reaffirmed its commitment to G21, and I think that focusing efforts in one direction and having our priorities recognised regionally with one partnership, I think would position ourselves well to achieve a better outcome at this stage.
Thank you. Any other questions? No other questions? All right. As a recommendation in the report, does any council wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Howard, seconded Councillor Hudgell. Councillor Howard is the mover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I don't take this decision lightly, because being in partnerships can bring a lot of benefits. However, I think the savings and concentrating on one alliance is very important leading up to the election, and we've got a lot of priorities and a lot of things that we need to get out of the state government. That's not to say that we won't be working with our Western councils at all. This isn't breaking our commitment in the southwest, but I've got to look at what's the best for Colac Otway in the current climate, and I think this is the better option for our council at this stage. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Hudgell is the seconder.
Thank you. Yeah, I support Councillor Howard's comments. I think it's really important as a council group that we need to continually review our memberships and partnerships and our resources and where they're best directed. And the decision to withdraw from the alliances, I don't think it's a criticism of what has been achieved, but rather recognising that our Shire is entering a whole new chapter. So I think while we leave with appreciation of the work that's been done, I believe we also do with confidence that this is a really positive, future-focused decision, setting us up for new partnerships, opening new doors and sharpening our advocacy with G21.
Thank you. Any other councillor? Councillor Potter? Yep.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. Look, I'm in two minds about this, Mayor. I'm listening carefully to the mover and the seconder. I note in the report that G21 should be the focus of council as it provide better outcomes. As you know, I'm a strong and vocal supporter of G21, who themselves are going through a metamorphosis. I do thank you, Mayor, for your work that you've done with G21 and representing my views as to the structure of the new G21. But I'm not so sure about walking away from our Western partners. Some of the synergies we have, especially with Corangamite and Warrnambool around our coastal issues, transport, the swallowing up of valuable agricultural land by tree farms for carbon credits. These are issues that we will be dealing with in the future, and I'm just not sure that it's sensible to perhaps walk away from an alliance that could perhaps advocate to government of state and federal more strongly than perhaps we could do ourselves. So I'll wait to see if any other councillor speaks, and you may speak to it yourself, Mayor, before I make my call. But that's my view. Strongly support G21, but I'm concerned about walking away from alliance to our west.
Thank you. Councillor Duduque.
In a similar way to Councillor Potter, I do question walking away from any alliance just because it's an opportunity for us to all work together and lobby to state and federal, and particularly not trying to leverage before we leave. I do question whether we could have gotten more out of it if we were a bit more vocal, or at least being vocal about our thoughts about leaving. But I do understand these concerns as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? Councillor McCriggard.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a little bit reminiscent of when Colac left the Hampton League and joined the Geelong League. It's a little bit similar in the sense that most of our services are in the Geelong end rather than the Warrnambool end. And I'm talking purely selfishly because I'm involved in services. I see us more placed to the Geelong end than the Warrnambool end of our zone. I do understand Councillor Potter's concerns that we maybe rely on the western part of our zone for advocacy at some stage, and that well could be important. I just wonder whether our energy should be focused in the one direction. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No. As I'll say a few words just on the current board member of the Southwest Victorian Alliance, and it's something we only joined a few years ago just to sort of, I guess, be a part of the group and see how it goes, to advocate for things. In my time there, whilst it's great to be in alliance, it's a financial contribution from our ratepayer, and we need to really, get something of value out of it. And I think we can still advocate for roads and even the forestry type things in conjunction with like the Corangamite Shire or Warrnambool or any other shire if we need to, by signing joint letters, etc. But I found our priority, or the priorities of the Southwest, they still can't find themselves. It's very, very big geographically. A lot of the things that are discussed at a board level are somewhat at times of a competing interest to the Colac Otway Shire ratepayers, whereas some of the things that like we're looking for in our health and wellbeing plan that Colac needs as services in the South West Alliance, they're sort of more aligned to going to Warrnambool, which isn't what we want. There's competing interests with our sale yards, with some of the other regional things. So as a strategic focus, the state government coming up, the election next year, the South West Alliance still, and this isn't disrespectful, but hasn't decided on any priorities, and they got a visit down to Spring Street in a few weeks and haven't actually got any priorities, whereas G21's well established. They're very smaller geographically, so it's easier for us to have regional projects, whereas the South West Alliance goes from Colac to the South Australian border, which is very hard to agree on a central regional advocacy project that benefits all the 6 councils. So I think we can still, and we still are friends, and we'll work together with our neighbouring shires, but I think our strategic focus for government elections and priority projects that best suit everyone in our shire, from Cressy to Apollo Bay and Birregurra to Pirinyalek and everywhere in between, is better focused with that smaller, stronger, well-established G21 group, and that's where we should be focusing our ratepayer money. Hopefully that sort of explains it, and hopefully we'll still be friends with our all of our councils, the other 78 of them, and that's why I sort of support exiting the group and focus on G21. Councillor Howard, right, a reply?
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Just to add something else to the debate, I really rate the Colac Otway Shire in its potential and its potential to lead around this area, and that's why I ran for council, and I really do firmly believe that the councillor group we've got here can take a really big lead in making sure that we capitalise on our opportunities, capitalise on state government funding and federal funding. So I don't think we're a small player. I think we're actually a large player in this region. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickar, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. All those against? Councillor Potter, Councillor Dew. Motion is carried 5-2. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 7.5. Hello. Proposal to enter into a lease with the U3A in Hesse Street, Colac. Questions of officers? For no questions, there's an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move this as a motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell as mover.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, this lease is about giving certainty and security to the U3A group, an organisation that's been serving our community for 20 years now, which is amazing. They deliver a wide range of programs, everything from lots of opportunities, but mainly for connection. It's also worth noting that the U3A are celebrating its 20-year anniversary in October this year, and what better way to acknowledge their contribution to the community than securing their future in this space, and I wish them all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McCrickard, seconder.
Thank you, Mayor. No, just to continue what Councillor Hudgell said, U3A must be congratulated for the input and the presence that they have in our community, and the support and guidance that they give so many of our people, and it's a wonderful organisation. So, no, thank you.
Thanks, councillor. Any other councillor? No. Got a reply? No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put to vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor McCrickar, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. It's carried 7-0. Move on to 7.6, proposal to enter into a lease with the Scouts Victoria, the log cabin Colac. Questions of officers? No? No, there's an officer recommendation in the report. Does any council wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Potter, is it to be seconded? Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Potter as mover.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, pleased to support this. The Scout movement has been entrenched in the log cabin for some years. About 18 months or so ago, there was a view from Scouting Victoria that they didn't need to be in that premises anymore. That decision's been changed, which I'm pleased to say, and the Scouts are now seeking to stay on. They do a good job there. The premises aren't flash. They look after it. They improve it where they can. They encourage the community to use it, and I wish them all the best if this is supported.
Thank you. Councillor Hudgell is the seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to echo Councillor Potter in his comments. The Scouts have got a long and valued history in our community, and I can personally say, as someone who was a Scout throughout most of their childhood, you know, I know firsthand the amazing opportunities that they provide to young people, not just practical skills, but building resilience and also just giving kids a place to belong, which is really important. So I'm really thrilled that the log cabin is still in use, and like Councillor Potter said, it's not flash, but sort of, who did I say, sorry? You know, I'm just thrilled that we're supporting a non-for-profit, community-based organisation that has a huge impact on families, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No? Right reply? No. We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor McCricker, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. We'll move on to 7.7. Cryo Bay Sports Treatment Clinic, exercise option request and novation of lease 118 to 134 Hearn Street, Colac. Questions of officers? Just for the public, can you explain the novation of lease and why that's taking place? Yeah. Whoever wants to take it.
I'll have first crack, Mayor. Don't run away, Mark. Thanks for the question, Mayor. So Cryo Bay Physio or Sports Treatment Clinic has recently sold, and they're changing their name, so that's the reason for the novation. But yeah, very exciting. Still similar people, and yeah, it's been a great tenant of Blue Water for quite some time. It's you know, we're really pleased to see the business being transferred to other partners that are already working there. So great outcome for our town.
Thank you. Questions, Councillor Potter?
Thanks, Mayor. I hope I'm not stealing Councillor Hudgell's question, but just in relation to the use of the Blue Water facilities, in particular the pool area, occasionally councillors hear some conflict about that. Could you just explain how the arrangements work in relation to the booking of the pool and so forth?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. So the lease enables the tenant full use of the 2 consulting rooms, but also does provide some access to the warm water pool, just the deep side of it for rehabilitation, which was certainly part of the, when we redeveloped the facility and the funding that we got from the Department of Health, it was around, you know, rehabilitation and other aspects like that. So they do get to use the warm water pool a couple of times a week, but then any other use, they need to ensure that that fits into community use as well. So they can't have 100% access to it, they need to share that space.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? There's a officer recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Hudgell. Seconded, Councillor McGriggard. Thanks, Councillor Hudgell as a mover.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, as Mr Surin just said, the business has changed hands and is being transferred into Colac Physio. And I'd just like to take this moment to thank the outgoing owners of Crow Bay Sports Clinic for their service that they've provided over the past 3 years. They've played an important role in supporting local health and wellbeing, and I just want to wish the Sapelli family well for the future, and at the same time welcome the Colac Physio, the incoming tenant. I've got that right? Hey? Sapelli? Zenpaddy? Oh, did I say that right? I'm not having a good day. I will not watch this one YouTube clip over again. My apologies. At the same time, now I don't know where I am. Just want to wish the new tenants all the best, and it's just great to see continued investment in local health services and them continuing care from Blue Water.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McCrickard as seconder. No. Any other? Any other councillor?
All was said.
Councillor Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to say this has been coming to council because it's not done by delegation. I think this is a good example of sharing information with the community and getting a bit of better insight into some of these leases and licences. So I appreciate the officers coming to council with all this information. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No? Just I'd like to say just on the, it's great that there's some locals and taking over this business. It's been fantastic. It's a great use of the rooms from a few years ago, the council to lease that out. And just in relation to Councillor Potter's question about the warm water pool, and we do get a lot in the community that pay memberships or the fees and see some of it booked out from time to time. I just wanted to note that we wouldn't have that warm water pool if it wasn't for when Colander had closed down and the government funded that warm water pool and some strong advocates in the community to get that facility for a lot of our health and disability services. So sometimes it's an inconvenience, but we've got to remember the main reason why we got it, and we all get to benefit from it. And this is, another good outcome for our community. Thank you. Right, a reply. Councillor Hudgell. Thank you. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dude, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Shrams. Carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. We'll now move on to 7.8, deed of renewal of lease for Amplitel, 49 to 51 Great Ocean Road, Lavers Hill. Questions of officers? No? There's an officer recommendation in the report. Does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Howard. Is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I do like recommendations that bring income into the council. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Very good. Councillor McCrickard as a seconder. No? Any other councillor wish to make comment? No? We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dude, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thank you. We now move on to 7.9, review of instrument of delegation. Planning Committee, questions of officers. Councillor Howard.
Yes, just to the officers, this is really just an upgrade of the current policy to reflect how we're doing the Planning Committee at the moment, and there's no real delegation type of changes that really affect our decision making in it. Can I have that confirmed, please?
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Howard, and through the Mayor, that's correct. So what this is doing is updating us to current practices. We're not removing any of the current practices or delegations.
Thank you. Councillor Dude.
Another point of clarification, I had a few people from the community asking whether the removal of the wording reference to considerations of submissions, that doesn't mean that we're not going to consider their submissions. It's just a different way that we're going to do it. Is that correct?
Thanks for the question, Councillor Deduge. And through the Mayor, you are correct. So we now have a submission committee meeting, which is where people put forward their submissions. When the original terms of reference was written, that was not the case. So there's no change to people being able to put forward submissions.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No. We have an officer recommendation in the report. Does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Howard is seconded by Councillor Potter. Councillor Howard as the mover. Thank you.
Mr Mayor, appreciate the officer's clarification on it. So now it's just a procedural thing that I believe. So I'll be supporting it.
Thank you. Councillor Potter, seconder.
I don't wish to speak to it. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other councillor? Councillor Dedu.
Just again to highlight that we always appreciate people taking the time to bring in submissions and feedback, and to please continue to do that so that we can continue to do a job where we're able to understand exactly what is required of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No? Right reply. No, we have a motion before us. Councillors will now put to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Shrams, carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. We'll now move on to item 7.10, Community Asset Committee update to members. Are there questions of officers? There are no questions. We have an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Potter, is it to be seconded? Councillor Hudgell. Thank you, Councillor Potter.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'm pleased to move this recommendation. Saddened at the same time because this is really removing reference to Kathy Marnie, a local resident for years out there who committed much of her life to helping out with the Warrior Flower Show and the hall there, and that is recognised in the report, and I appreciate that officers have acknowledged the work that she has done. I'd like to congratulate, if this is supported, the new members of the committee, a great lineup of dedicated local people out there who will continue the great work that's been done for many years.
Thank you. Councillor Hudgell is the seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to support Councillor Potter and just also acknowledge and thank Kathy Marnie and her family for the many years of service, especially through her contribution through the Warrior Flower Show, which is coming up again in October. They do such a wonderful job out there, and yeah, just like to thank all the new members for coming on board too.
Thank you. Any other councillor? Councillor Buchanan.
I guess just to support the importance of local halls and things in our regional shires, because a lot of times they're historical places that retain the history of the shire. They're places where RSL boards are up, memorial boards. As this one suggests, it was the Warrior Flower Show, but there's beach forests, some very important halls that retain our history, whereas sometimes that's lost in the bigger towns and shires where the operations happened, but these places are so important to retain history.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No? We have a motion, right, a reply. Councillor Potter. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. We'll now move on to item 7.11, Audit and Risk Committee Chair and reappointment of independent member. Questions of officers? What's the maximum term for a chair on our committee?
Through you, Mr Mayor, 2 years.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, we have an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Howard, seconded. Seconded, Councillor Potter. Councillor Howard is a mover. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to start off and thank Melissa Field for her contribution in the chair. She's a very professional person. It gives good leadership and direction, and thank goodness that she's staying on as a member as well. I rate the Audit and Risk Committee very highly, and I know the appointment of John Gavins will be a good transition too, because I have a lot of respect for John as well. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Potter.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd just like to echo those words of Councillor Howard. Whilst not on the committee, as a councillor you get to read the reports and see in person or online reports directly from the chair, and I think she's done an excellent job in the way she can communicate what's been done.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor? No. I'd just like to echo those comments as the other member on the Audit Committee. Thank you to all of them and Melissa for her service as chair, and I'm glad you're staying on, and John will be a good appointment. Thank you. Right a reply? No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dadouge, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. It's carried 7-0. Thank you. We'll now move on to the item, 8.1, Audit and Risk Committee Biannual Report. The purpose of this report is to receive for information the Colac Otway Shire Audit and Risk Committee Biannual Report. Does any council wish to ask questions of officers? No. There's a recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Howard, is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Howard is a mover.
Yeah, again, a good, transparent and comprehensive report. I think I noted before that the Audit and Risk Committee is a very functional and a very important part of council, and this report sums up very well what activities that we look after. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McCrickard is the second.
Don't wish to speak, thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mayor.
Any other councillor? No. I'll reply. No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dadouge, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Carried 7-0. Thank you. We now move on to item 8.2, Audit and Risk Committee meeting. Confirm minutes 21st of August 2025 and unconfirmed minutes 11th of September 2025. Does any council wish to ask questions of officers? No. There's an officer recommendation in the report. Does any council wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Howard, is it to be seconded? Councillor Potter, Councillor Howard is the mover. No. Councillor Potter, no. Any other councillor? No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dadouge, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thank you. We move on to item 8.3, report of informal meetings of councillors. The purpose of this report is to inform on the council on the purpose of this report is to inform on the meetings of councillors. It does not require a formal decision of council. I note there is no urgent business. Don't think. No. No. There are no reports. Thank you, councillors. This concludes the council meeting of the Colac Otway Shire. Declare this meeting closed at 2:09 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.